Welcome, Progress users, to a new and revolutionary Unix to database interface program, which allows us to do a query on Unix files and then also transfer data from our Progress database back to Unix. We will also be able to do maintenance on any Unix file and then rewrite them to a new or existing file name. Then we will also be able to do a query on any Progress database table and maintain those records as well if we have maintenance permissions. On our first screen here, you can build your own path name and then press F1 to search for files within that path name. Now we will use the AnyKey feature by typing in a subdirectory. Now the cursor is jumped down to this subdirectory name. To undo these keystrokes, we can simply press the minus key to go backwards. Let's try that again so that we can use the backspace key to also quickly clear the search key as needed. Now we're ready for a new search key, and we'll type in ch2. Then when we find a subdirectory that we want, we just simply press the enter key and then it adds it to our path name. Then let's continue on selecting subdirectories and one more tmp. Now we have our subdirectory built, and all we have to do is press the F1 key and then our path name will be entered. Or we can enter a new path name if we choose. So now I'm going to enter a search string so that we can bring up all the Unix files that are contained that match that search string, and we'll enter txt and see what happens. Notice how all the files are sorted by the file name, and we can search for our desired file by using the AnyKey A through Z search. Here's what happens when I enter a P. The browser drops down to the first file following the P. I hope you can see how user-friendly this AnyKey search method really is. I just love it. Then when we find the file we want to see, we can just press the enter key, and then we have total control over this file. This browser is now in the existing file sequence, but we can change any of these lines by simply pressing the enter key as follows. Now we are in update mode, so let's change this data like this. We've added some data, and now we need to press the F1 key to register our change. So now we can see that the first record has a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in it. So our change has been registered, and the cursor drops down to the next record. Now if we want to permanently change this file, all we have to do is press the F1 key again. Now we can see the file name box. We can either rewrite the existing file or enter a new file name. So for now, let's just rewrite the existing file name by pressing enter. Then we can see exactly how many records were written to our file. Then if we want to prove that our changes took, we can just press the enter key again, and then we can see our first line has been changed to the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But what if we want to copy text from our Microsoft Word processor? Can we do that? Of course. Let's just give it a try here. We'll go into the Microsoft world and copy some lines, and then go back into our Unix world and see what happens. But first we have to press the tab key to delete all our existing data in the file, and then we'll press the F12 key to utilize our copy feature. All we have to do is tell the program exactly how many records we want to copy, and then just paste those records in using our right click. And here's what happens when I do a right click. It stored our 4 records, And now we can create our own Unix file with those 4 records in them by pressing the F1 key to rewrite this file. Now let's change this file name to test.txt and space out the rest of the line, and voila, we have a brand new file name in Unix with 4 records in it. So let's see what that file looks like by going back by pressing the slash key and then the F1 key. Now we can put test period in our search box and see what happens. There's the file that we just created from Microsoft. Isn't that amazing to be able to copy data from Microsoft to Unix? Now we can look at this file and see that our data has been copied from Microsoft. Now what if we want to search for a particular string? That's an important feature that we need to be able to accomplish. So let's see how we can do that. We've entered the slash, now we go enter slash again, and now we press the F1 key. Now we can put back our text files and bring up back to the browser. So now let's press the P key again to get to our P file. Then if we want to do a word search, all we have to do is press the right bracket key. After we press the enter key, now we're going to do a word search using the right bracket. And now let's search for the word test. And pressing enter, and enter again, that will bring all the occurrences of test. That's the first occurrence that we see. Now if we want to do a repeat of this word search, all I have to do is enter the left bracket like this. Now we can quickly see all the occurrences of this string called test, and it will tell us exactly where we are on the file. We're getting near the end of the file now, and then now we're at the end of the file, and now it goes back quickly to the top of the file. So, but let's say now we want to search all these files for one particular string. Can we do this? Of course we can. All we have to do is press the slash key and then followed by the F1 key. And now give it a minute. Now we're going to search all our files, and it combined all those files into one browser file. Pretty neat, huh? Now, to search one browser file, all we do is press the enter key and then fill in a search string like America. Now we can put our search results into our own file, or we can just press the enter key to see the search results on the screen. Now we see the first occurrence of the string America right here. Now to repeat our word search, all we have to do is press the tab key. Notice that the sequence numbers are now changing to tell us where we are in our little browser file. Now if we want to store these results in a Unix file, let's see how we can do that. All we have to do is press the enter key and then re-enter our word search of America. But this time we will enter the file name, and what it will do is store all the occurrences of America in this file name here. Now press the enter key, and now we find out that there's 42 records sent to file. So let's go and see what happens there. Press the enter key. Now we can quickly go back and review the file by pressing the slash key twice, and then the F1 key, and then we can put search in our string to bring up the file we just created, and it found the file, and now we can press enter key to see the search results. There's the search results of America. So by now, can you see how easy it is to find data in Unix and manipulate it exactly the way you want? I hope so. Now we will show you how we can go into the progress database by pressing question mark. In a few seconds we'll have all the database files from the progress database. Now we're entering a whole new world where we can bring back whatever data from the progress database that we want and store it in Unix for safekeeping, just like taking a picture with our camera. This can be very helpful if we want to take a snapshot of data. Very helpful indeed. So let's begin our journey into the progress database world by pressing the slash key and then the question mark. And now we have a list of all the progress database tables sorted by file name. So we can easily find them using an any key search feature. Let's enter H. And now we see what happens. Now if this table that we want to search, then all we have to do is press the enter key. Now we see all the fields that are in this table. This window is really handy for programmers because they can cut and paste any of these fields and put them into their program quickly without any errors. So now the program put the cursor on the main key field for the table because this is the most likely field that any user would want to search on. Now all the fields are in order by field name, and we can use our any key feature to search for a field, but for now let's just press the enter key to select the application field. Notice that we have a 1 in the sort field to the immediate right to indicate that this will be our first sort key. If we need more sort keys, then all we have to do is press the enter key on a selected field, but for now just run our query. We need to press the F1 key. Now we see a from through box which allows us to make up our own range of data that we want to see. So let's enter 1 through 999 and see what records we can find. Now we see our records sorted by application. Now only the leftmost fields are showing in our browser, but if we want to see all the fields, we can just press the arrow key and then we will be able to see the remainder of the fields. So no matter how many fields there are in this record, we can see all of it from this one window. Now if I want to return, I can use the left arrow key and move us back to the original position. Also, you can use the any key feature to move down the browser window as follows. Now I'm going to press 333, and now the first record after 333 was 343. And if we want to start over, all we have to do is press the backspace key and we get back to the beginning. This any key feature makes this a very user-friendly program, saving you time so that you can find the information you want to see and also in the order you want to see it. Then if you are authorized, You can also do maintenance on any database record. Let's start our maintenance process by adding a new record by pressing the plus sign. Now all I have to do is enter some data. I'll enter some data, and then I'll press F1 to store this record. Now that's all we had to do to store that record. Then I can simply delete this record by pressing the minus sign. If I press the minus sign, then I can delete one record by entering yes. Then when I hit enter, notice how the old record was stored in a Unix file so that it could be restored later for future use. This is a very handy feature. If you accidentally delete the wrong record, it will be still stored in Unix. Now if I want to change a record, all I have to do is hit the question mark. Now I'm in update mode and I can change any field. Let's change the record, press the F1 key, and now we see that the record is changed. And I can quickly reverse this change by pressing the question mark again and spacing this out. And now my record is back to the way it was. So I hope you can see how easy it is to maintain your progress data. Any data can be changed in the progress database. But I can understand how management would want to restrict this very important feature to the appropriate personnel. Such restrictions are very easy to set up to fit any user's requirements. And now comes the feature you've been waiting for, which is to export data from the progress database, which allows you to take a picture of any of the database records that you can bring into your browser and then store them in a Unix file of your choosing. Then it will count the records and allow you to name your own file where your database records will be stored in Unix. So are you ready to give this a try? Okay. All we have to do is press the period, and voila, we're done. Here's our file name where we want to store this data. We can override the file name with any file name that we choose, but let's just hit the enter key, and now we see that we copied 31 records into our what we call a flat file for our own usage. Now all our database records will be copied into this one output file. Then the program automatically exited the database query phase and went back to the Unix query phase so that we can view the Unix file we just created. So let's press the F1 key so that we can see our newly created file here. And now we just press see our file here. Now we can view the database records that were stored. There's our 31 records. If we press 3-1, there's all our 31 records. Or we can go back up to the top. So now we see our 31 records, and all we had to do was press one key, a period. Now you can make as many Unix files as you want. Just change the file name and you are good to go. I hope you can see the power you now have at your disposal. But there is still more to come. Let's use our question mark again to see one more thing that we can do. Okay, now we are back in our database field browser. Now we want to search for some database fields. Can we do that? Yes, we can. By just hitting the Tab key, it will bring us all the database fields, and they will be sorted by the field name. Now we can use our AnyKey feature to search for a particular field. So let's try a G and see what happens here. It jumped to the field called gain loss. And now we know which database tables contain this field called gain loss. There are 3 such tables that meet this criteria called pool fallout, loans, and MMCOV. I hope you will be able to take advantage of this field search because it is really a nifty feature. I use it a lot myself because it tells me all the files that use my particular field. Well, folks, that's all I have time for at this now, and I hope you have enjoyed this Progress Unix tutorial.